Well, hi there, food friends. It's Kevin,
Hey, and I'm Ralph, behind the camera.
and welcome to Cavalcade of Food. And today, Ralph, it's Cavalcade cocktail time,
All right.
and we're going to make an Alexander cocktail number 1.
Wow. Is that a vintage cocktail?
It is a vintage cocktail, and it's been around for a long time. And the Alexander is a cocktail that has many variations, but this is the first one.
I have a feeling there's a story behind this one.
Well, there is, and part of it is, yesterday my brother came over for dinner, and he had this in his hand.
Yes, he did.
Remember? And he gave it to you.
He did.
And he said, "Hey, Ralph, I was cleaning the house and I found this and thought you'd like it."
He's
Well,
always bringing gifts. It's so generous of
He
him.
is. And this is Creme de Cacao. And this is liqueur or cordial, if you will. And Ralph, this also comes in a clear version.
Right.
And so, anyways.
What's it made from? What does it taste like?
It tastes like chocolate. So this is the cacao, the cocoa. So those are big cocoa beans down there, okay? And so it's a chocolate liqueur, and we cracked it open and we gave it a sample test.
Yeah, give it a test run.
Absolutely.
It's
We
good
don't
over
want
ice.
anything
You
that's
could
not good.
You could have it over ice. You could have it in mixed drinks, obviously, which is what
Yeah.
we're going to do today.
And so I thought, you know what? I need to find a recipe that uses this. So I went straight to the Cavalcade library. I've got a whole shelf of old cocktail books, and I found this one. Look at this well-worn Burke's Complete Cocktail and Drinking Recipes.
Wow.
Okay?
When's that from?
And this is the first edition, published in 1934. Now, what I want to tell you is Harman Burney Burke, known to his friends as Barney, Mr. Burke was a bartender who left the United States when Prohibition began, and he went to Europe. And he tended bars in Paris, in London, Berlin, Copenhagen, okay? And in 1933, I think it was December 5th, 1933, they repealed Prohibition, and alcohol was once again permitted to be sold in the United States. And he came back to the U.S.
So Prohibition started in 1920, and it actually went for a lot more years than people realize. So during that time, he was kind of like, I'm not going to be sitting on my hands.
Well, what does a bartender do if you can't sell alcohol, right?
To put an end to my livelihood.
He went to Europe, and he
gathered information.
And he worked at some very fancy and ritzy places. But anyways, this was published in 34. So remember, Prohibition ended in December at the very end of 33. So this was hot off the press when people were ready to start enjoying cocktails once again. And he's got a whole list here of the world's 14 most famous cocktails. Now, number 1 or 2 is the Martini in Manhattan, as you might guess.
Those are still very popular.
Look at number 10, though. Alexander cocktail number 1.
All right.
And that is the one that we're going to make
today.
All
right.
And so basically what I like about it, Ralph, is the Alexander cocktail number 1 has 3 basic ingredients. So it's easy to make.
Right.
You need gin, you need creme de cacao, and you need cream.
Okay.
That's all you need.
And ice.
And ice, yes. But in terms of wet ingredients, this is it. Equal
Right.
parts of each. Okay?
Right.
And, hopefully in the future, as we kind of get out of pandemic mode, we start entertaining more at home like we used to. And that includes having people over for dinner and for drinks and cocktails. And so we hope to get back to being able to do this. And by doing it here, not only will we get to share another vintage recipe with our friends, Ralph, but we get to use some of our fun vintage barware, which I have tons.
Which you have plenty, yes.
So
back in the old days, people used to have a liquor cabinet, which would be filled with different types of
Well stocked.
And then people would come over and they could, make different combinations of intoxicating elixirs and drinks.
We just entertained more at home in the 50s and 60s and had more people over regularly. Lifestyles has changed, and I think now it's just easier for people to say, let's meet here,
Go to a bar.
at a restaurant or at a bar, whatever.
Right.
And it is. It's no fuss. You don't have to clean the whole house and get everything ready for company. So it's easier. But you know what? It's not the same hospitality as hosting somebody in your home.
And if you're creative and you like to have fun like I do, I like to make my own combinations and cocktails, and I made one called a Fuzzy Yucky, and it was delicious. It was cream soda and bourbon. It's good. Okay.
Yes. Fuzzy Yucky. Well, maybe we'll do that one time. Well, right now we're going to make an Alexander cocktail number 1. And we're going to use Mr. Burke's recipe here from his book, World Famous Drink Recipes. And again, equal parts of each. So let's start with our shaker. Look at this great old mixing glass here, Ralph. It's got recipes on it. Whiskey Sour, Manhattan, a Bacardi, Daiquiri. Ooh, Tom Collins. Does that sound good? Martini Gibson. We're going to use that. So first, we're going to put some ice in here. Okay. Lessons well learned, number 1. Cocktail parties.
Yeah.
However much ice you think you need, double it.
Oh,
okay? Because you can never have enough ice. And it is the worst thing in the world to run out of ice. So, it also gives us a chance to use some of our great vintage. Got a collection of ice buckets here at Cavalcade, because why wouldn't I,
ice
right?
Buckets. You must have the one with the penguins. That's
yes, I do. We'll do an ice bucket video one of these days. Okay. So anyways, let's put some ice in our shaker glass, okay, and kind of get it cold, and then we're going to add our ingredients. So Mr. Burke says you need equal parts of all 3 of these, okay? So I'm going to use a shot glass here. This is actually a measuring. See that white line? This is really for measuring. So that'll give us about an ounce of each. So we're going to take a gin, and everybody may have their favorites. My philosophy is, use something you like. Use a good liquor. If you're not drinking it straight and you're mixing it with other things, it doesn't have to be top shelf, okay? Because the nuances of the liquor really kind of get lost with all the other stuff. But use something good. So we're going to
But not rot gut.
But not rot gut, that's right. So we're going to use 1 measure of gin. This is an extra dry gin. Then our donation from my brother.
And that's pretty chocolatey and sweet.
Yes, it is.
So that'll
1 measure of that.
That'll mix well with the
Creme de
cream.
Cacao. And he doesn't specify clear or brown, and it's brown is what we got.
For the Creme de Cacao, because you can get it in different ways, and there's Creme de Menthe, and there's also...
Yeah, that's another variation, Creme de Menthe, or maybe you've heard of a brandy Alexander.
Yes.
That would be substituting the gin with brandy.
Right,
okay. So now we've got a measure of cream. Put that in there.
Okay, so equal parts of those 3.
1, 2, 3. Okay. So far, pretty simple. Now, we're going to put our top on.
Without a bar towel?
Well, you know what? Well, you already know, right?
No, I trust you this time, but,
I'm counting. 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. The reason I'm counting, Ralph, is because Mr. Burke says very clearly 20 shakes.
No more, no less.
No more, no less. He has some recipes that are only 10 shakes, some are 25 or 30 shakes. This one was 20, so I didn't want to lose track. Okay.
So just imagine back in the old days making a Alexander cocktail with some Castellanets on the hi-fi, maybe some camphor ready to go.
Yes.
That's just in the case. Got your whole record collection.
Well, think of when people would have parties, usually the basement was the dancing zone. And because you had a tile floor down there.
And sometimes bars, wet bars.
Yeah, and you would have let us know in the comments, how many people did you know growing up who had a bar in the basement?
Yes, right.
My
Okay.
grandparents had one.
Yes.
And I mean, it was just part of it. And I remember even, I think they had something called dance wax, which was a powdered wax, and they'd put it on the tile floor.
Yeah.
And it helped you be able to slide your feet, so when you danced, that was really entertaining.
We want our viewers to let us know in the comments section about your memories of cocktail culture, because many times in the bar, in the basement where the bar was, there would be fancy bottles. There'd be, there was a whole thing that kind of took off with cocktail culture.
Some people went all out. Now, this is a strainer, by the way, and this is used to hold everything back but the liquor in a shaker, okay?
I've seen strainer things.
So it's just a kind of a horseshoe-shaped spring.
But it's good.
It fits right in there.
Keeps the ice where it needs to be and just lets the liquid pour out.
I'm going to put one here.
And one for the cameraman?
And one for the cameraman.
Oh, I like this bar.
Okay. And I didn't make too much of a mess, but I will get my bar rag.
Yeah, always good to have that on hand.
Bar mop. And keep things clean here. Okay. So, that's for you.
Gracias. Here's to our viewers.
And yes, here's to all of you and the Alexander #1.
Getting the chocolate. It's almost, is it?
I get the chocolate first, really.
Mm-hmm. And then the cream smooths it out nicely.
Yeah, the cream. Sometimes gin has a little bite to it, but that cream just smooths it out. You definitely know this is an alcoholic drink.
Yeah, especially bathtub gins.
Which they would have had before Prohibition.
But yeah, this is really smooth, and I think that's why you have to be careful, drink responsibly, because some of these sweeter, smoother, creamier drinks may go down easy.
They go down easy.
But they pack a up because you can't really even taste the alcohol real strong.
Really nice. This is a really nice drink. And
what goes with
another
drinks?
rule with cocktails: never serve drinks without food.
At least some kind of nibble.
Some kind of nibble. No matter, even if it's something small. So here, Ralph, look. I've got just some fun crackers with a cheese spread and a little sprinkle of cayenne for a little zip.
Fancy it up. Quick and easy, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Some nuts, something to give people an opportunity to kind of have the
sensory experience.
Something in the stomach too.
Oh yeah, to absorb, but also
absorb the alcohol. But
in that book, you were telling me that Mr. Burke also talks about a lot of hors d'oeuvres and appetizers that go with certain drinks.
There are recipes in here for things that go with cocktails, because just like wine, you pair certain wines with certain foods because they complement each other.
Certain cheeses, yeah.
Cocktails are the same way. Certain cocktails lend themselves.
Yeah, like a beer and a hot dog.
Well. Exactly. Well, like anything salty in beer,
of course.
Right?
Yeah.
Is a natural.
Well, that's another thing. Like you're saying, bars would often have, and still do have, something to munch on, so you're not just sitting at the bar.
Popcorn or peanuts or something. But so don't serve your guests drinks without having something, just some little finger food to eat. But it's just wonderful. And I have to tell you, I've never had this cocktail before in my life. This is really good. I see why people, at least in 1934, really enjoyed this.
It almost reminds me of a Tootsie Roll, and of course later it was modified in a way to a Black Russian, I think they called it, or a Black Cow, where there's Kahlua and cream and things like that. But yeah, this was probably the original, because this is early on, before some of those drinks ever came around.
Yeah, this is really nice. And wow. I'm loving this, and I think I found a new fun drink.
Yeah.
And so thank you, Mr. Burke, for your recipes.
Remember to drink responsibly, but
Always.
Enjoy entertaining with your friends and loved ones.
So when we're hopefully soon in a place where we can once again share good times with family and friends. There's no greater gift than hospitality, and to share with people that we care about and have them over. There's something special about welcoming people into your space,
Right.
into your home, and just putting out some things to share and good conversation with those close to you. So also a great way to make new friends too.
Share the experience, celebrate the culture, enjoy each other's company.
So we're going to celebrate all of our viewers, and we're going to say thank you very much for being a part of this episode of Cavalcade Cocktails, and there'll be more in the future, so we're looking forward to that. And in the meantime, take care, stay well.
Don't forget to comment and like, share, and
Subscribe
to the channel. Spread the word.
And we'll look forward to seeing you again real soon, right here on Cavalcade of Food. Bye, everybody.
Bye. Cheers.